If you install DVR when building the quad, you probably know what the pain is to go and click that button each time you are going to fly, and then to click it again when you disarm to save the video. This button is very tiny, you can barely feel if you clicked it, especially when you have battery and props on, it makes it a little bit hard and annoyed. So today we are going to take a look on how to automate recordings of our DVR. In this video we will have a look at two ways on how to simplify our life with this button. So the first way would be to bind recording start-stop on ARM Disarm, and the second way we will have a look at would be to bind it to separate switch. To automate recording, we will use pad provided by RunCam DVR, which is called remote control. It has two states, high and low, which control the recording state. On a flight controller, we will be using RX4 pad, which is not used in our build, and we will use it to control high-low signal on RunCam DVR. But before we jump back to our workbench, let's have a look on a bit of a theory. So the functionality we are going to build is relying on something which is called PINIO and PINIO box. And let's have a look at this. PINIO provides a way to use spare pins on your flight controller to switch on off other devices or functions like camera or VTX. PINIO box then allows to assign these PINIO functions to specific Betaflight modes or switches on the transmitter. Essentially, it's a way to use your flight controller I/O pins to trigger actions based on the flight mode or transmitter switch position. In details, PINIO is an abstraction of simple GPIO, allowing to control physical pins on the flight controller. It allows to output high and low signals for those pins, and these signals can be used to control other devices. PINIO box allows to associate specific PINIO pin with Betaflight mode, like ARM Disarm, flight mode, or custom mode. When a specific mode or switch on the transmitter is activated, the corresponding pin will output the assigned high-low signal. Again, as an example, PINIO box can be used to turn on off VTX, manipulate camera, LEDs, other devices. In our case, we will be starting and stopping DVR based on ARM Disarm state of the quad. So to summarize, PINIO provides the physical I/O pins, and PINIO box provides the logic to link those pins to Betaflight modes and transmitter switches. This allows to create custom functionality and scenarios on a quad by utilizing spare pins on a flight controller. To do the automation, we need to get access to DVR board. So that means I need to remove top plate, and I need to remove VTX, and maybe remove VLRS receiver. So I'll see you soon as I have all the preparations done.
If you are still watching, it means this video is either useful or interesting for you, or maybe both. And if that's the case, please subscribe to my channel, like, comment. And also just a reminder that all parts used in this build are linked in the description of the video.
Now we have our quad partially disassembled, so we have access to DVR, and we will be using this pad on DVR, and we will be using this pad on flight controller. And the first thing we will do, we will set up our automation bound to ARM Disarm. We'll start with making sure this pad is high on ARM and low on Disarm, and then we will solder a wire and see how it works. And this will require some Betaflight configuration, which is called PINIO, and we will go through it all together. Now in Betaflight, go to CLI, and first thing you do, just put dump all and save configuration into file. This will ensure that at any time you can revert all you've done. If anything weird or anything is not working, just revert to your old configuration. Now let's type a resource command, and we will see that our serial RX, which we are going to use, is assigned to pad C11. Let's note down this number. C11 is actually easy to note. For the next command, we will just say, hey, we want this pad to get back from serial, and we will use it later. So we are unassigning serial RX. And the next thing we will do, we will assign it to PINIO 1. Actually, before you do it, run command get PINIO box, and you will see if it's if any of PINIOs already used. So 255 means it's not used. Any other number means it's used. So if, for example, if your first number is already used, just use another PINIO, let's say PINIO 2 or PINIO 3. But in our case, no PINIO is used, so we can just stick to PINIO 1. And our next command would be set PINIO box to 0. So we are saying PINIO 1 is bound to ARM and disarm state. 0 is Betaflight constant, which is bound to ARM disarm flag. And at this stage, we can hit save and check what's going on with multimeter.
Let's do a quick test now. Let's turn on our multimeter. We connect a plus of the multimeter to our pod, and the minus we will connect to the ground. Now be extra cautious because we need to actually arm disarm our drone in reality. So smoke stopper. We need a smoke stopper, and let's plug it in.
Telemetry recovered.
Let's check what do we have here on the ground. On the ground we have low. Now we armed, our motors are spinning, and we see we are high on the pod. So it works as expected. Now we can solder this wire to the DVR and check if recording really starts and stops as we arm disarm the quad. Let's see how it's all working together now. Let's see if we have a blinking light on our DVR. No, no blinking, something is wrong. Stop. Oh, I see now. It probably requires low to start recording and high to stop recording, so we need to invert our signal. Okay, that's doable, no problem at all.
In Betaflight, inversion works with PINIO config command, so we can go and get PINIO config. Okay, so to invert something, we just need to put 1 to 9, so we can do set PINIO config to 1 to 9, 1, 1, 1. This should be appropriate PINIO config for us. And now click save.
Okay, we've now inverted pin value. Let's see what we are getting now.
Telemetry recovered.
You see our DVR immediately started blinking, which means recording is going. Now let's stop. Recording stops, it stopped blinking. Again. So we've done with that automated approach on arm disarm. If you like it, maybe just subscribe to my channel. I'll also put a CLI script in the video description for your reference. You can just copy paste it to your CLI.
To bind DVR start-stop on a switch instead of arm disarm, the changes in Betaflight script are actually minimal. So the only change is instead of binding it to 0, which is arm disarm flag, we are binding it to user 1 mode. And now, as soon as we've done it and clicked save, now we go to mode tab, and in here we will have one more mode available, which is called user 1. So we can bind it on our switch. Now it will be aux4. It's off and on. And that's all changes we need to bind DVR start stop.
Let's do a quick test now. Smoke stopper. We don't need to arm the quad now. we just need to check if DVR starts recording on a button. Okay, so we've pressed the button, DVR starts recording. We've unpressed, so DVR stopped. So this is how to bind your DVR to the button with minimal changes from auto arm disarm, and it's up to you guys to decide which way is more convenient to you, your choice. Thank you for watching, see you in the next videos, cheers.